sarcastic tone. I'm a bit underwhelmed by the sample shown. Fraternity guy, you got my ass full of bloodshot eyes. Get drunk and fight every night. Idolize Bradley, belittle women's rights. Homophobic, racist, and don't give a fucking hey. Do you think you can drive a bigger truck? So wear your baseball cap to decide to let everyone know that you're a nice guy. So cool, was so impressed. Lots of chicks and a barrel chest. Cause you're a real man. Punch for punch, gonna piss in your face while you're passed out drunk. I'm a nice guy, you're a nice guy, he's a nice guy, but all of you are assholes. I'm a nice guy, you're a nice guy, she's a nice guy, but all of you are assholes. Nice guys rule the planets. I just can't understand it. Conquer the mind by deception and lies. Social Darwinism and an overdose of pride. I don't wanna hear it. Read into the lyrics, cause everybody gets their just desserts. As long as you remember that nice guys finish first. Mr. Whitebeard, you're next on the list. Such a nice guy who speaks through his fists. Prick with a penchant for messing with heads. A broken nose for dinner and breakfast in bed. Alcoholic, paranoid, and suicidal too. But you'll probably kill her before she gets away from you. She lives in a pool, letting her cry. All your friends say that you're a nice guy. Have a drink, this one's on me. Look, you're doing fine, losing to your disease. Comatose, I'll pack your bags. Bury you like a treated guy. I'm a nice guy, you're a nice guy. We're all nice guys, but all of you are assholes. He's a nice guy, she's a nice guy. Hey, Tom Bo's a nice guy. All of you are assholes. Nice guys rule the planets. The public dominant. Conquer the mind by deception and lies. Social Darwinism and an overdose of pride. Fuck off, jerk off. I don't wanna hear it. Fuck off, jerk off. Read into the lyrics. Don't let the bloody pill quench your thirst. As long as you remember that nice guys finish first.
Dick. Hi. Hey everybody, it's Media Wench here again, and I'm just rolling on along, taking over the pods for producer Dave while he is sorting out his stuff. And I'm here tonight with HK on Intellectual Dollar Tree. We do this show every Wednesday, unless we don't, at 7 o'clock. Fucking yeah and shit. What do you guys usually do at the beginning of this thing? I never watch this show.
We just introduce ourselves. I'm HK Perrin. You can find me on Mastodon at hperrin at port87.social. You can also find me on Blue Sky at hper.in, HPERR.in.
You gotta make all your shit so fucking complicated. Except for on Facebook when you were just H and then they told you couldn't have that by deleting your account.
Yep. I kind of like not having H because that was bad. A lot of random people messaged me.
I mean, that could have been good for us, depending on what kind of randoms you got.
Never good randoms.
Never good randoms. Speaking of randoms, I'm fucking so sorry, but that Jordan Peterson Elon Musk thing is just not available anymore. I can't find it. I searched for it. There's only clips of other people doing reacts to it. So we're doing Club Random and Ben Shapiro. I'm sorry. I just know enough about Bill Maher where I can talk some shit. Like I don't know. Like I know enough about enough things, but I don't know a whole lot about y'all's cast of characters over here. So I had to pick somebody that I could suffer through, and believe me, it's fucking suffering. So that, but also I want to throw some bombs. So I need to know at least a little bit about somebody. And but Bill Maher and Ben Shapiro are incredible pieces of shit. And both one's gonna talk really fast, and the other one's gonna pretend like he smokes weed.
Yep.
Yeah, basically. So let me since I are a pro streamer and I can't do anything without fucking it up at least one time. What am I doing?
Can you, for me, embiggen the other?
Embiggen the other? Yes, I can.
Yeah.
When
I'm seeing myself big on my own screen, which feels.
Oh, that's dumb.
What's it called? Narcissistic?
A little narcissistic.
Yeah.
Ew, how's that? All right.
Much better.
Nice mug.
Right? Isn't it adorable? It's little hedgehogs and they love each other.
Okay, so let me get this bullshit going on here. I saved the only alcohol that I had for tonight because I figured that was important.
I also have these pink hedgehogs up here that hold like fake cactuses.
Aw. That's adorable. I love hedgehogs. Hedgehogs are so super cute.
It's actually funny. My sister got me this for like my birthday or something, and she goes to give it to me and she can't find it. She lost it. So she had to order me another one, and she was like, it'll be here in a couple weeks. So she gets it and I get it. And then like a couple months later, she's like, I found the original one. So I got two, which is great.
You got a pair of hogs.
Yeah.
All right. This is awful. We're going to sit through it. And I'm already can tell you that I'm not high enough for this shit.
Cancel your unwanted subscriptions. Monitors your spending.
You know what I'm going to do is skip through all of your commercials.
.com did this show as a new podcast.
Oh, we don't care about your podcast.
You know, as somebody who has a bit of a dog in the Hitler fight, right?
I was going to say.
Like the.
Oh, this is going to be awful.
Says something about it. Like on a practical.
Like fuck off. I don't think that he is like particularly anti-authoritarian. Like he will say like, oh, I'm anti-Hitler because I'm Jewish. And it's like, okay, but that doesn't mean you're anti-authoritarian. Like as long as you're not the target, you're fine with it.
Right.
I bet you've never done anything.
Also, these like all of the camera angles in this fucking place were a choice.
Was it Molly Hatchet randomly?
Yep.
Yeah. It's like a punk rock band.
When was this?
This is like the worst club in the world. You would not want to go to this club.
No, that's why nobody else is there but these two
Coming to
idiots.
A place that seems antithetical to everything you stand for and believe.
Like this is a place that you go to get molested.
When you were like a wild.
Intellectually.
I mean, hopefully you consent to it, but
I mean, both of them are pretty small and slow. I could take them.
As it is possible. That's my blessing.
if you're going there, you should know that that's what you're in for.
I know. I mean, if I hit Bill Maher, it might be elder abuse, but I'll take the L on that one with the W.
That's sort of the Pascal's wager.
They wash each other out.
Well, but come on, that's not even why you really should want to be religious.
No, of course not.
It's not, but I mean, certainly people do that. I mean, I always say, because I think I'm fair about religion. Yes, I'm anti-religious, of course, but I do admit it does some good. I mean, it's not a 100-0 proposition. Charities, Catholic charities. And one of the things it does is it does keep some people in line.
Yeah, that's what Voltaire said. So
it makes other people fly planes
you
into
could
buildings. So we'll call that one a push.
I don't think that's true.
I don't think that's true either. I think that if you need the threat of an eternal, unproven punishment for the rest of what the fuck ever in order to not be a shitty person, then there's something deeper going on there, and that needs to be sussed out in other fucking ways, not through fucking magical fucking cloud man. That's not.
Yep. I also think you're probably not kept in line. You're probably a serial killer, and you just haven't been caught yet.
And it's only a matter of time, right?
Right? Am I right?
I mean, I won't say that all religions are exactly equal in their effects.
No, but it does keep the idea that, and this is not so much in Judaism, because Judaism is the least about the afterlife and how much the devil is going to poke you in the ass with a pitchfork if you fuck up on earth, right?
Yes.
What is the review for our students? What is the Judaic version of the post-life? What's their post-life
There's a big debate about it, just like everything else in Judaism. But there's not one kind of clear picture. I mean, the picture that I always got...
Is it heaven?
More or less, yes, but heaven can be construed as sort of reunification with God, more than sort of like you're hanging out just like you're a human being, but you're hanging out with all your friends up there. And
okay, that's the same as Christianity.
Lasting fire. And
Does he not know that not all Christians agree with each other?
No, all Christians agree with each other, obviously.
Right?
That's why there's only one
sect of
sect.
Christianity.
Judaism has a concept of hell.
There aren't Adventists, Presbyterians, Episcopalians, fucking Baptists, like so many.
For sure. No, hell is Los Angeles. I almost got robbed
Like
last night.
even Catholics disagree with each other.
We were here for family and to be on this, and went out with some friends last night.
It's almost like religion doesn't actually have any answers.
It's almost like it doesn't matter. It's like one of my best and my favorite arguments is if like somebody had raised you up and replaced God with Santa, would you know the difference?
No,
No,
I would not.
No, you would not. You would fucking not.
Yeah.
Yep.
No.
But you know, if someone had raised me up and told me that airplanes don't fly, I'd eventually figure out that they do.
Mm-hmm. Because you could see that with your eyeball.
Yeah. Even if someone raised me up and told me something that was like harder to know, something like, I don't know, let's say the earth is 6,000 years old. Eventually I'd figure out that it's not.
But everything that is old, supposedly older than 6,000 years old is the fucking works of the devil, HK. It's to fucking woo you to the dark side where there is cookies.
Jesus put those fossils down there in the rocks to test your faith.
That's right. Well, was it like Earth Jesus, or was it like God Jesus, or was it like Holy Mist? Woo, Jesus.
I'm going to say it was probably Earth Jesus, but like post crucifixion, like when he rose back, like you know that 3 days that he was missing?
Yeah.
He went back in time.
Oh.
And planted all those bones under the rocks.
Crude oil.
And then came forward in time again and was like, "Hey, I'm back, guys. Don't mind me. I wasn't doing anything for those 3 days." Also, he's really fast. He's a lot like Santa. He's like fast enough to plant bones all over the entire earth.
Have a Jesus sleigh. I mean, we are getting close to Christmas, so I guess we can make a bunch of fucking Christmas jokes, but like Jesus sleigh, and then he's got like,
it's from the Middle East, so it's not reindeer, it's camels,
and then but the main camel is like Judas, and then he just punched him in the nose, and so it's red, and that's why it's red.
His 12 apostles were actually the camels
reindeer.
that pulled his Jesus sleigh.
Oh shit. See, look at us unlocking things already. We have all the answers.
7:30 at night, we get out of the restaurant. I have security, obviously, so we start heading one way. My friends head the other, as a husband and wife. They go like, 3 cars down. They get in their car. As soon as they get in their car, a white Hyundai pulls up, and 3 black gentlemen, I mentioned the race because they are still at large, jump out of the car. They immediately grab my friend, pull him out of his car, steal his wallet, steal his watch, pull his keys out of his pocket, his phone. They run around to his wife. They grab her, start trying to rip the jewelry off of her. She screams, and at this point, their time has elapsed. They jump back in the car, and they take off. And I remembered why I moved to Florida. So,
because that's the only place that'll have you?
In Florida.
I like how he said, I mentioned the race because they're still at large, as if like, oh, okay, yeah, that really narrows it down.
Yeah.
3 black men. There's only like, I think 4 of them in the country, right?
Yeah, total. So Nathan's one of them, and he's too busy causing all the rest of the world's problems, so he doesn't have time to rob Ben Shapiro.
Okay, so not him, but the other 3.
The other 3.
They're the ones. Like, fuck this guy. He mentions their race because he's racist.
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
If well, are you strapped?
In Florida, sure.
You are.
So is my wife. Everybody's strapped in Florida. Come on, man. I've been there.
Okay. Well, what I take from this is
Even the children.
Look at Bill put a napkin
Even the
over his drink, even though it's just been there.
I mean, I might
He's
too.
like, you know what, motherfucker? I ain't trusting fucking nobody here. Mm-mm. And I know who I invite in my studio. Fuck that.
there's some fine restaurants on 3rd Street. I mean, Berries. I love Berries. It's late night. It's a very strange restaurant because it's nice. Nobody's ever in it. If you want to be sure to get a table at 9:00. I'm just walking off the street. I recommend it highly. I think they must be laundering money or something. Jones is a old, isn't the little door on 3rd? These are all places I will never go again.
Yeah, no, listen, I grew up here, man. I mean, I spent my entire childhood here. I was here for, of the 36 years before we moved to Florida, I was here for 33 of them here. And then there came a point where we were out.
Well, I mean, you're not unique. Certainly, there's lots of people who have knew.
Imagine
I don't know about that.
Racist to live in California.
I don't know about that, man. Ben Shapiro's pretty unique. I don't know if there's many fast talking people like him who fucking think that Rudolph the reindeer is bad and all the things are bad.
Nashville and Austin.
Yep.
Right. Those are the 3 sort of havens for people who have had wokeness up to here. And when I say wokeness,
The people that are too racist to live in California.
Some people think of it in the original meaning, which is, as I always say, noble, alert to injustice. Certainly with our despicable racial history, that was necessary to be super alert.
For the kind of people who literally would never watch a Little Mermaid movie, but saw that there was one, saw that she was black, and was like, nope, I'm moving to Florida, where I don't have to worry about anything that I don't care about being accidentally black.
Common
So
sense
weird.
agenda. I mean, that's where we share a belief. Then there's lots of stuff where we don't. And, we don't even have to talk about Trump. But, it is 10 days before an election, and we're about to elect
That's a moral obligation,
the worst person ever. Who's a dictator and will change America for the worse forever. But you know what? Between friends, little things like that can go.
I mean, no, he's not the worst person ever, but he's the second worst.
Anti-common sense agenda.
I mean, he may not even be the second worst, but he's definitely in the top 5. And there's a lot of fucking shitty people that are could make that list.
My friend after he got robbed, and we were calling the cops and waiting 15 minutes for the cops to arrive. And I said to him, well, at least you've done your part to alleviate systemic racism in the United States. And that's sort of the mentality. And he's been thinking about moving out of here for a while. And again, he and his family live here. It's bad governance is a thing that ought not be countenanced, regardless of your politics. I mean, people would like to live in a place where you can walk down the street at 10:30 at night and not be robbed by roving gangs. And that doesn't.
I mean, you could do that in my town, but my town only has 3,200 people in it.
You can do that in my town.
No, yeah,
I don't know how many people live in my town, but
about things that people like.
I've done that in San Diego a lot. And San Diego has
is my grocery bill twice what?
How many people in San Diego? Like a million? I think.
So
I could do that. Could do that in San Jose. Never had a problem walking around in San Jose. People talk all that shit about San Jose. Never had a problem about that.
1.4 million people in San Diego. I could walk down there 10:30 at night just fine. Done it plenty of times. I've walked around at 2 a.m. in San Diego. Never felt unsafe.
Yeah. Don't do that in Redding, though. They'll fuck you up out there. Shasta County bad.
Legacy media, which is very concerned about things like systemic racism, and the normal person who's like, I would just like to not get robbed today. That drives an enormous amount of distrust.
Nobody ever gets robbed in Florida. Did you know that?
No, really?
About,
Just of their money if you're in Clearwater.
And their dignity if you're anywhere else.
True.
Donald Trump saying X, Y, or Z. It's okay, well, he's saying that, and you know what? What I really care about is who's going to fix my life and make it better. And I think that really is a big divide right now.
Yeah, the piece I'm doing at the end of the show Friday, and I guess this will air after that, so I don't have to worry that I'm cheating myself. But it's, it ends with saying that the Democrats, when they ran against Trump, certainly in 2020 and this year, really their big argument is, let's get back to normal. Certainly that was Biden's. And what I'm saying to them, and of course I'm voting for her and I want them to win, is, and you know, I don't have to love everything, and I don't, but certainly it's not a hard choice for me. But if what you're selling is let's get back to normal, be normal. We know Trump isn't normal, but if you lose this election, it's because a sizable number, perhaps a majority, think you're not normal in fundamental ways either. And, you know, I know the far left hates me for always noticing this, but I'm going to continue to notice it because it's true.
I don't think that's true. I think the problem is that they are normal and people are kind of sick of normal right now. Normal isn't helping them, you know?
Right. And
so instead of voting for someone who's normal, they just didn't vote.
Yep.
So like a bunch of people didn't vote. Trump, you know, everyone who voted for Trump last time voted for him again. He gained a couple 100,000 votes. The Democrats, like Joe Biden was at like what, 72 million or something, or 81 million, I think, 82 million. And then Kamala Harris got like 71. So she lost like 10 to 12 million votes compared to last election, and Trump gained none.
Yeah.
So the problem was not, you know, oh, I'm going to vote for Trump because you're not normal. The problem was, I don't want normal. I'm just not going to vote.
Well, not only that, but it's like people talked about like momentum. She's got so much momentum and everybody's excited. I think the people like who figured that it was in the bag and were like, I'm fucking tired of all this bullshit, thought that somebody else was just going to take care of it for him. And that's not what went down.
Possibly. Yeah. Could be just apathy.
Yeah. I mean, fucking like this election like went on for like 3.5 years. It feels like.
Yep.
So it's something very different, and you can't have that word. You are woke or whatever the word is, but it's different, and you can't like merge them when they're very often opposite.
I think the Democratic Party has also done something where they've been intoxicated by the you know, wonderful high of being able to just say Trump over and over and over, and Trump is Hitler over and over. And that's excused them to basically believe they can do whatever it is that they want, say what it is they want. The weird thing about this,
we're going to watch Bill light a joint and then not take any hits off of it and then relight it again in 20 minutes.
I mean, say what it is we want. We want universal medical care. Like for literally everyone in the United States should be able to get medical care. Mm-hmm. We want affordable housing. We want higher wages. We want safer work environments. Like, is that unreasonable? No. What about that does Ben Shapiro not like? I mean, other than all of it.
No, yeah, that was, I was going to say, which is basically everything there. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, it's very Patrick Jonesy. Oh, you're just enabling bad behavior for people who don't want to work for those things. Okay, well, you know what? If it wasn't for people who like create shit, like there would be like this lack of fucking like the beauty in the world. That shit doesn't fucking pay any money.
And also it's like it's kind of hard to work when you're sick and homeless.
Fuck yeah, right? Oh god, there was
like
this
you just become completely unproductive to society. And it's like if they like, I don't think people should have to be productive to society, but like if that's what gets you rock hard is thinking that like everyone needs to be productive to society, then like make them not homeless and make them not sick, and then they'll be more productive to society.
Yeah. Give them a better education. Give them access to free education so they can fucking up their own game. Because that's all that fucking money for fucking college and shit and all that stuff right now seems like a whole big old fucking scam for what it fucking costs.
And like make sure they can afford and have access to good food. Like food deserts are a thing. It's like there are towns in the United States of America where it is essentially impossible to get good food. Mm-hmm. You know, if you don't have a car, you just eat shit all day.
Yeah.
Like fuck you. You get to eat grease and potatoes and grease.
Yeah. And those are two of the cheapest things that you can get, and they're going to be also expensive. So double fuck you.
Yep.
Republican history, right? He took abortion basically out of the platform, right? I mean, like at the RNC, he basically sidelined abortion, which is a huge issue, obviously, for the pro-life community. That's a big part of the Republican Party.
He appointed the judges who got rid of it.
That's true. I mean, he will. They got rid of Roe, but the point is that his position has been that he will veto, for example, a national abortion ban. No,
Yeah, but he lies.
Yeah, he won't.
But he just lies.
He's a liar. Yeah. He absolutely would pass a national abortion ban.
Of course. And if he's under, oh God, these fuckers are so fucking delusional. Like, if you can't trace back all of like the fucking bribery and fucking kickbacks and the fucking straight up installation of fucking sycophants into the Supreme Court and how all of that has played out to where we are now, you're fucking blind. Get some better glasses. I don't fucking know, dude. You can only be in fucking denial for so long before you're just like, I'm gonna lie along with these people because fuck it, why not? They just like, why even try anymore? Why?
Yeah, it's like how Trump tried to distance himself from Project 2025, and now he's like gung ho about like, hey, you helped write Project 25, you get to be in my cabinet.
Oh yeah,
you helped write it. Okay, you get to be in my cabinet.
You get a cabinet seat. You get a cabinet seat. Every 2025 writer gets a cabinet. So that's JD Vance's all wet dream shit. It's like, ugh, God.
Yeah, Trump is a liar. Like, I feel like we all know this in our core. It's just some people refuse to believe it. You know, they'll hear him lie and they'll know it's a lie and they'll just be like, you know what? I choose to believe that that's not a lie.
No, it's that they choose to believe that he's lying for everybody's own good.
But then you ask them, like, how'd you feel about that lie that he just told? And they're like, that wasn't a lie.
Well, they don't know the truth. They don't know the truth in the first place. It depends on who you're asking.
It could be that they're just too ignorant to realize that he's lying.
That's usually the case.
Right. When it comes to things like when it comes to same-sex marriage, that's completely out of the platform because of Trump, right?
That's the great part of being a cult leader is that no, seriously, is that when it's about personality, and this is true, and it's funny you bring up Hitler. It's like he's the one talking about Hitler now. I think it's hysterical that for years now, you guys don't seem to care at all that the only human who he has ever not shit on is Putin. Like everybody else gets it.
I mean, and he might have. Who knows what's on that tape?
Friends, enemies, people back in the fold. Everybody gets shit on except, and a couple of other dictators he likes.
Yeah, Kim Jong-un.
Sort of like thrown that mask away and just like, I like all these people who are Hitlerian. Well, let's just say I like Hitler too.
Well, I mean,
it's kind of funny.
Well, here's the thing about the whole Hitler thing. So, as somebody who has a bit of a dog in the Hitler fight, right?
I was going to say,
like the funny hat, says something about it.
Yeah.
As somebody who actually cares about this sort of thing, I was with Trump like 2 weeks ago at the grave of the Lubavitcher Rebbe with the hostage family, where one of the kids is being held right now in captivity by Hamas, American kid.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you something Hitler didn't do. That.
Right.
So for all of the...
Well, because that was a long time ago, and now your performative actions in order to fucking appear something else are different.
47 presidents of the United States, he said a lot of shit. And
this guy who is famous for hating this particular group of people, well, the guy that I really like, he doesn't hate that particular group of people.
No.
Well, what about, doesn't he hate like this other particular group of people?
But just wait until Trump.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not this particular group of people like that other guy that I don't like. So, and I am part of that particular group, but I'm not part of this other particular group that he hates. So no, he's not like that guy because he doesn't hate me.
Well, just wait until, the training wheels are off of the presidency now for Trump and all the adults have left the room. So he can go ahead and throw his military parade and jump up on his podium and as much as he fucking wants now. Ain't nobody gonna stop him. Who's gonna stop him?
Yeah.
Nobody. Who's gonna stop him?
And the Supreme Court just decided that he can do whatever he wants, and it's not against the law.
Yeah.
He can do literally anything.
I think that
he can assassinate his opponents, and it's not against the law now.
Isn't Justice Sotomayor kind of close to retirement or whatever? They should retire, and he should appoint Kamala to the fucking Supreme Court.
That would be great, but she wouldn't be confirmed before the inauguration. Unfortunately,
He should quit and make her the 47th president, and so he ruins all.
I
of
really
Trump's
think like the funniest part about that would be that all of the people who have like Trump 47 merch, like that. Yep, they'd have to throw that out and buy a new one.
There's one more
Just go
scam.
waste another $25.
Just give Trump more fucking money. Fuck. Stupid.
I don't think Trump makes a lot of money off of those. I mean, I know he has his own merch, but like, it's mostly like other companies that sell that sort of like trash from China.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. There's a lot of people in my town with that trash from China.
Like, I don't think Trump
surrounded by
fans give a shit about where their Trump merch is coming from.
Oh, fuck no.
You know, they don't look at the label and see made in China and go, I'm not buying this.
No, this is.
They go, how much
Chinese
for the one that says grab them by the pussy?
How much for the one that says make liberals cry again? No, it's like, they should just start like a Chinese company should just start a company called Made in America, and then they can put that on their label. You can just put it on the Made in America.
Yeah.
What does he actually do? And I've noticed many of the people who are calling him Hitlerian seem to be perfectly okay with the pro-Hamas protesters on campus or with slow walking aid to Israel in the middle of a war with action.
I don't think anyone's okay with the pro-Hamas protesters on campus, mostly because there aren't any pro-Hamas protesters on campus. But, you know,
report on by the Jerusalem Post.
I mean, there's the anti-child genocide protesters. Is that what he's talking about?
Sure. There's just no way around it.
Listen,
it's just no. You go, boss.
Hitler did do one amazing thing. He did kill Hitler.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's not even his joke, man.
See, he just lit it, and then didn't. That annoys me the most about this show.
Just the way that the cut on those, like especially the general's uniform with the red stripe on the leg, and also those leather full length,
just snazzy.
Just with the lapels, everything was just. Now, there are things I don't like about the third.
They were snappy dressers.
Question there about like he
just two dudes joking about what they like about Hitler.
It just amuses me, and it won't in the future because he didn't do a lot of the stuff he said the first time, but he tried. You know, Hillary, lock her up. Yeah, he tried. He tried to get Sessions to do that.
Not really.
Yeah, he did.
No, he didn't.
And he certainly tried to not honor the election. And as I said from the beginning, didn't concede. He tried everything. He did not have in place enough lackeys and stooges to pull it off the first time.
But now
that may not be the case the second time. That's my worry about Trump. The whistling past the graveyard of, he says a lot of things about the enemies within and all these words and phrases that we heard from places where they did conduct pogroms about people. That's exactly what they said in Rwanda.
Okay. I mean, I think that if you're believing that Donald Trump is a figure who's about to massacre the Houthis,
I don't.
Houthis or the Tutsis.
But if they were here, he would.
I highly.
The Houthis, they're eating the pet. The Houthis, the Haitians ate all the dogs and the cats. The Houthis go for the hamsters.
I mean, he might be about to
I keep asking people,
massacre
what's the practical
Hispanic people.
Yeah.
Like, we don't know.
Want Trump not
we don't know what Trump's going to do.
The next election.
He's talking about mass deportation. You can't do that. Like, you can, at best, you can just put them all into concentration camps and then like slowly deport them.
Yeah.
You can't just like show up in Mexico with like 2 million people.
No, Pete and I were talking about this last night. But it's like what will probably happen is that he'll make a couple of very public examples of mass deportation where it's not really a mass deportation. It's like fucking 3 fucking tour buses and they take them across the border, something like that. But it'll be extremely publicized and the cruelty of it will be the point. And then that will literally just be to placate all of the fucking MAGA idiots that were like, immigration, man, we're going to get rid of these people, took our jobs, and And, while he's just shoveling cash out of the back door. I mean, it's like, look over here while I fucking pull a bunch of shit over here. Or, I'd let a bunch of people that I let in the building pull a bunch of shit. One of those, several of
it could be.
all of those things at once, honestly, probably.
But I don't think that it's out of the realm of possibilities that he actually would just put a bunch of people into concentration camps.
I mean, they did, and by the beginning of with that whole family separation thing, right, was basically concentration camps for children.
Those were people trying to get into the country. So, like, yes, it's horrible, but I'm talking about on a much larger scale, like millions of people in concentration camps in the United States.
That's fucking insane. It's insane to even think about. And it's not, it's like,
it's happened before.
Yeah.
Like within the lifetimes of people who are alive today, it has happened before.
Yeah.
And now it very well might happen again.
Just and
it's stupid.
Once he wins, you frankly, I mean, really?
Again.
Like on a practical level.
Again, that's adorable that you think that.
You think he wants to stick around after that? The only reason he stuck around this time is because he lost last time. That's the only reason he's there.
I mean, he's not even unique in this. Once you get to be president, once you have the plane and wherever you want to go in the world, you can get there faster than any other human being because they will clear the countryside, the streets, they will clear everything. Once you have all those kind of perks, you never want to give up. Look at Biden. He must have known that he was a shell of his former self, but you cannot. It's like flying private.
Yeah, but he's eligible. I mean, Trump's not eligible after this.
Once you fly private once,
they can't even list him on a ballot. I mean, once his second term is over.
Well, I mean, that's unless he changes that.
The people he's going to appoint to his cabinet, they have to go through Senate confirmation. I mean, like,
so that is true, and that's if Trump follows the Constitution, and whether he will follow the Constitution is an actual question because. There were plans in place for him to not follow the Constitution after the last election.
He's not a big fan.
And the only reason that we did follow the Constitution is because of people who were actually brave and had some balls and stood up to him. So now are there going to be those people when it actually matters? Laws aren't like this thing that everyone has to obey all the time or else there's immediate and permanent consequences. Laws are only upheld if people care about it,
Right. And those aren't going to be a thing if people are people like fucking Stephen Miller and Jared Kushner and are in fucking charge of shit. I can't even, I had to completely fucking unplug from mainstream politics I've only watched Sister Subaru, I think twice.
Yep.
And
you and me both.
I'm so engrossed in local politics up in Shasta. I watched a San Joaquin County Board of Supervisors meeting last night. It was so vanilla. I didn't even know what to do with myself.
It's sad, and it makes me worry that the United States might not survive for very much longer. This is kind of how countries fall. When the laws start to not really matter anymore.
Yeah.
If Trump gets in and he pardons thousands of people that were arrested and prosecuted for the crimes they committed on January 6th, at that point, it's okay, well, if you're doing a crime in the name of Trump, then you probably won't be punished for that crime. So at that point, crimes aren't really illegal anymore.
I want him to make it so unpopular to pay taxes that we just don't have to do that anymore. I'm down with that.
Oh, you'll be paying more in taxes.
I know. Fuck.
Yeah, you don't make enough to pay less in taxes under a Republican president.
Did a couple of years ago.
I don't either. Neither of us make enough. You have to be making probably at least $400 million. $400,000 a year to pay less in taxes under Republican presidents. And I don't just mean Trump. I mean under Bush, they all cut taxes on the wealthy. Bush, Reagan, Bush Senior, Trump, they all cut taxes on the wealthy And you and I just aren't in that class. We don't get the tax cuts. So we just end up paying more of the taxes. And especially if Trump enacts these tariffs, that's going to be a tax on everything you buy. Almost everything you buy. Surprisingly, the one thing people are super worried about, toilet paper, it's all made in America.
Yeah, don't have to worry about that.
But like, if you need to buy a new computer, that's going to be 40% more expensive. If you need to buy a new car, that's going to be probably 20 to 40% more expensive.
Fuck
depending
that.
on the car.
I'm sitting on my car for the next 10 fucking years. I don't give a fuck.
And like the people that fucking voted for him have no idea what a tariff is.
Exactly.
Like they think like, oh yeah, he said China's going to pay. And it's like, no, China doesn't pay anything. Like if we put a tariff on China, China doesn't pay anything.
We do.
We pay that tariff.
Yeah.
And if it's like a laptop, you can't buy an American made laptop. There are no American made laptops. So you're going to pay tariffs on a laptop, period.
But the
and then there's this idea that like, Trump's going to bring manufacturing back to America with the tariffs. No, he's not, because it's going to be cheaper to pay 40% more for a laptop from China than it is to buy an American made laptop, because an American made laptop would cost 3 times as much as a laptop from China.
Yeah, because we have labor and wage standards.
Yep.
The checks and balances to stop stupid blundering attempts to overrun those boundaries. They really were. I mean, that's why you can say that Donald Trump tried all this stuff and it failed, because the system was basically built for that. What the system was not really built for was the takeover of institutions from the inside and then the gradual weakening of those institutions. So, for example, the use of the Occupational Safety and Health Administration to try and cram down vaccines on 80 million Americans, right? Or the attempt to ram down alleviation of student loans single-handedly, and then after the Supreme Court says don't do that.
I love this idea of like cramming down vaccines on people. It's like, so normally you would consider that good if you were like a sane person,
right?
But like half of our political spectrum has decided, you know what? Actually, we really like communicable diseases.
Yeah.
We're like a big fan of the freedom to spread communicable diseases to each other.
You know what I like?
So
polio.
we're gonna go back to our sneezing in each other's mouths party.
Lick a doorknob.
You can't make
for
us
safety.
take a vaccine.
Yeah, go lick doorknobs for safety.
Nope.
Yeah. Cramming down vaccines on people gives me this mental image of like you open the door and it's like 17 9-foot tall people with fucking syringes and hunchbacks like wickedly looking down on you like, get your vaccine.
Just like stabbing you over and over again. And it's like, no, it's just some lady, in scrubs who comes out with a needle and is just like, here you go. Wipes your arm with the little alcohol pad and then you're done.
Gives you a cookie and a sticker.
Justice to continue investigating Trump apparently for everything under the sun. Like these sorts of things, they can be abused that way. And those abuses are pretty serious.
I'm not going to follow all those trails because we're here at Club Random. But I could. Some of what you say I agree with. Some I don't. Let's end this section of our conversation.
Before we stop talking about this subject too, I wanted to bring up so one of the things that was an argument against vaccines, and I'm not even joking, I'm sure you've heard this, is the idea of natural immunity.
Yeah.
If you get COVID, then after that, you have a natural immunity to COVID. And it's like, but you got COVID.
Yeah.
That's the thing you were trying to avoid.
Right. And that doesn't give you a natural immunity to a fucking variant.
No, it doesn't.
No. Variant fucking COVID 32 is the one that's going to take you out. That's the extra pointy one with the fucking extra fucking little spiky proteins on it. That the little hickey thing is walking down the fucking nerve stream towards you. It's like, here, I'm going to just load this into your serotonin. And the next time you take a hit of that good shit, boom, out of here.
That I fear. will you admit it?
Sure.
Yes.
Of course.
I think he will. I think you're an honorable guy.
I mean,
I do.
I
mean,
opposed him when
don't-
he was doing this between November and January last time around.
Okay, but he did it, so how could you possibly forgive it?
I mean, I don't forgive what he did between November and January, and now
Right.
I'm faced with a binary choice between two candidates. And who do I think is going to be
But you really,
closer to
you
the
really think
policies I want?
you really think the hellscape that would be America would be worse under Kamala? I mean, again, all the woke stuff. I mean, this is last week's editorial that I did, and this week they both kind of have the same theme, which is that Kamala, you need to convince the undecided voter that you're not a stealth woke nut.
Yes.
That's it.
Are you convinced?
No, but I would take.
But like,
that.
okay, so
Even
Bill Maher is
as much
out of touch
baggage
here
comes
because there's no
You don't
way
say.
for a liberal candidate to convince a conservative candidate or a conservative voter that they're not crazy because they don't watch the news, they watch Fox News. You know, and Fox News isn't going to tell them like, oh, Kamala, said today that she wanted to give $50,000 to new home buyers. No, they're going to be like, Kamala today ate 9 babies and, burned down a church. Like they're just going to lie about her. So like, there's nothing that she can do. Like we have a divide in our media where on one side you have just absolute insane like conspiracy theory level shit about like anyone who's left of like George W. Bush.
I was gonna say,
and then
what's
like
her face
on the other
McCain?
side you have the most feckless media apparatus in history that like Donald Trump could just like slaughter an entire town full of babies and then be like, well, you have to consider what the babies did.
I mean, those babies were hella woke.
To give us his perspective, here's Ben Shapiro on why the babies deserve to be slaughtered. This has been CNN.
Oh, shit.
with that. It's still better than the guy who doesn't concede elections, loves Putin, loves autocracy, fundamentally doesn't understand that that's the linchpin to America, the peaceful transference of power. No, I don't think he would ever give it up. I don't think he would ever say, I lost.
So can I ask you the countervailing question?
And he will probably try to pass it on to Uday and Hussein.
So you've asked me, if Trump does all these things, will you admit it and say
Yes.
that? And I said, okay, so if Kamala turns out, if she wins, and she turns out to be just as stealthily woke as I fear she will be, and if she pursues the bad kind of foreign policy that I think she will, I assume that you'll also come forward and say that.
What I will admit is that she was a stealth woke nut. I will not admit, because I haven't said it now and never have and never would, that is yet worse than not conceding an election.
Understood.
That to me is the absolute bottom.
So I think that if you're going to make a bet, to be fair, just to, if we're going to put it in people's lap, then the bet is basically, do you think there's a better chance that Donald Trump ends up being a Hitlerian tyrannical dictator who overruns all the boundaries of power?
Right.
Or do you think that there's a better chance that Kamala Harris is going to be a stealth woke nut who runs America into a ditch? And I think there's a way better chance of the latter than the former.
Yeah, but yes,
Nope.
maybe so.
Hard disagree.
A good question, at least. What is not a question in my mind is, if the worst outcome of each happened, which is the worst of the two?
Fair. That's part of the calculus.
And you agree with that?
Well, I mean,
it would be worse
if Donald Trump turns into Hitler, I think that is worse than Kamala Harris being a bad
not
president.
Hitler. He's not going to kill all the Jews. He likes the Jews.
He does.
And so
Does he?
I.
I mean, he likes
Gurus
Kushner,
from
maybe.
Radioactive Media are back and bringing you another episode of.
There are Jews that he likes. I don't think Donald Trump likes any like group of people.
Plan on growing your business, and one thing is SEO. That's more to Wayne. I don't have to pay club. Oh, I do still have
Fuck your
every media
commercial.
person.
A lot of shit unlike the other guys. Great.
And I appreciate your reaching out about my Chapel Roan editorial. A few
Yeah, it was
months
great.
ago.
It was great.
But it means
Am I allowed to-
a lot to me. Because
What'd he
Am I
say
allowed to shit
about
on,
Chapel
the other
Roan?
guys you've had on the show or
of
not?
course.
Okay, so Bill Burr was a fucking asshole on this show.
No, he wasn't. Bill Burr was amazing. That was the best episode of this ever. I mean, did you watch that? Probably not. I don't think
No, I
that Bill
didn't.
Maher understands that Bill Burr doesn't like him, and Bill Burr just fucking bagged on him the entire time, and it was amazing. It was so good. Oh, I was laughing my ass off. I had never enjoyed watching something I hated more.
You know what I just noticed? They put an extra cushion under Ben Shapiro.
They did.
Do you think he wanted that? Do you think he was like, I don't want to look short. Give me an extra cushion.
And short compared to Bill Maher. Yikes.
I mean, they're the same height with the extra cushion.
Yeah. Ben's legs are all straight out, and Mars are like all like crossed. It's like, yeah, he's got a lot of extra leg. He took the old man's back pillow. That's fucked up to sit on.
Someone in chat just said it's a high chair.
So long ago.
I know, but it pissed me off. Really, it was quite terrible.
That's the last time you saw my show?
No.
Oh.
I watch your show consistently, but that one's been in my craw for a while.
Okay, I don't even remember it, and I don't think he was an asshole. I think I remember
No, he was, though.
he had a great. Maybe he was. He was here. Oh, this show.
Yes.
Oh, I thought you
Yes.
meant real time.
No, this show.
Oh, this show. Yes. Well, you know what? Bill and I have a great relationship. It's not what I would call a loving relationship, but we have a grudging respect for the other one. And when he is funniest is when I
don't know about that,
purposely
Bill.
goad him. Because he's like Mr. Regular Guy. And I'm not really a pompous professor, but I can play one. Because I know a lot of words he does and things he doesn't, which he finds to be elitist. You know, Ben.
Listen,
I mean,
I think he's super funny, and I think he was an asshole on the show.
that's very possible. But I happen to love that episode because I would say things like, you know, just to provoke him. Bill, do you find it entirely eleemosynary that this... And I love playing the straight man. And it just gave him the chance to be the Boston...
Why are you going to sit there and try to play a straight man while you have booze and weed? It's really, he's just playing himself at this point.
Yep.
The fuck that means? And it's funny. Comedians love just to do that.
Yeah.
So-
No, the other thing that ticked me off was where he started, you know, essentially getting high-handed about, well, you don't know anything about the Middle East and you can't speak about this, but I love the protesters and the protesters are great.
Were you funny in school? Like I was like...
No, he's not
I
funny
was
now
the
either,
class
Bill.
Clown. That was too beneath me. I was a snob even as a kid. But I was kind of the class wit. You know, I would try to make the teacher laugh. And were you anything like that in school?
I mean, a little bit, but I was pretty biting. I mean, like I was 2 years younger than everybody. Right. So
because you were advanced?
yeah, I skipped 3rd grade and 9th grade. So
that makes so much sense because really, I mean, your capacity, I mean, I feel
No,
like
it's
I
just
have
that
skills
Ben was
that
born at like the age of -2.
He should have kept 3rd and 9th grade because then his height would have caught up with him, maybe.
By his second birthday, he was finally 0 years old.
Like, you're not the only one, but people who can write and read like long 1,000-word tomes, you know, your mastery of the detail of the law and every issue and how fast you speak, you know, it's like, I can't aspire to these things. And frankly, I don't want them. But they are impressive and they're rare.
So, I mean, I'll say that when I was in school, so that results when you skip a couple grades and you don't hit your growth spurt until, you know, senior year.
I don't think he has a mastery of any subjects.
No.
Does he?
I don't know.
Being, you know, the class.
Is he an expert on anything?
That kind of stuff.
Yeah, much worse than stuff in a
How his own
like
fart
what?
smell?
physically abused, like hit, like that kind of stuff. Like the
Physically, but not sexually.
not sexually. Like hit with belts, that kind of stuff.
Boy, and to get fucked in a locker.
No, that would be bad. That would be bad. I don't think my life would have gone quite
That's
the
the
same way.
ultimate, yeah.
As someone who is an expert in one domain only, you know, one topic, I know how much work it takes to be an expert at something, and I don't see Ben Shapiro putting in that same amount of work into anything.
I don't see him having an attention span for anything like that for that long.
Yeah.
Except for himself.
Yep.
That's pretty much it.
So you carry a chip on your shoulder around.
I mean, I also was a huge loser in high school and super shy Yeah, and again, growth spurt. Not that I ever read really a big one, but at least I got to normal. But I think at like 14, I was still very short for. And kids are feral. Kids are awful. Kids
are.
Kids
Fucking speak for yourself. My kids are wonderful.
And before you do, their instinct is to be awful, and they are.
I agree with you. I have 4 of them.
I went to. I mean, people.
They're wonderful and terrible. Yes.
You know what? Your wife does all the work in that fucking relationship if you think that your kids are
Great way
awful.
to put it. Yeah.
I mean, if my dad were Ben Shapiro, I would be a piece of shit too. So.
And stress. I'm like, life is stress. I said, when I was stressed, when I was a kid, adulthood is not stressful at all, even though I've had many stressful episodes about various things. But compared to the knot in my stomach that was every day, because it wasn't like I was ostracized every day, but some days. So, like, which days it going to be?
Exactly.
Which of these Nazi children who somehow they got to be the Gestapo? What are they?
Kids also, especially in high school, they have an innate.
So he says that childhood was harder because he was picked on.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
more stressful to be picked on than it is to like think you're going to lose your house or your job.
I mean, that's unfortunate, and his parents probably should have done something about that. If that's how he feels, that like adulthood is less stressful than that.
That's a weird take.
Because like I've been an adult for a little while, a tad.
Some time.
Yeah, I've had a little bit of experience being an adult, and I gotta say, childhood is way easier.
Way easier. Fuck, man, what I wouldn't give to go back there.
Yep. I mean, maybe like I know that like I'm privileged of having like good parents who gave me a good childhood, and not everyone gets that. So I was thinking when Bill Maher was saying like, "Oh, childhood was terrible. It was much worse." I was thinking he was going to say like he was going to talk about his parents doing a bad job, but he's just saying like other kids picked on him. That's something that like the school should have taken care of, or his parents should have taken care of. So I guess in a way it was a parental problem, but like that's strange.
I mean, I guess it's also kind of reflective of the patriarchy being toxic as to where he was a male child, so he should just buck up and take it, right? Or
Yep.
so instead of like maybe feeling comfortable like having feelings or discussions or things like that would maybe label him as weak or a pussy or something to his peers, and that would have made it fucking worse. But really, that's just, again, it's a symptom of a larger problem.
Yep.
Right.
Weak.
The weakness.
They
the
hate
weakness.
weak.
Yes.
I don't know if that's like a Darwinian thing,
Probably.
right? Like, let's kill the weak.
And so, I have a
No, that's not a Darwinian thing. There are many examples in nature where the weak are protected by stronger members of the group or pack or what the fuck ever. That is a societal failing in how you treat sex is different.
Isn't it just like a sign of insecurity?
Yeah.
Like if someone is picking on other people, it means that they're insecure, right?
Right.
Generally. Not always, but generally it just means like they're insecure about their own, like the way they're perceived to their peers. They don't want to be perceived as weak. So they're like, well, I'm going to pick on someone who I perceive as weak. That way other people will perceive me as strong. So they do that. And yeah, bullies are insecure.
Yeah.
Like Donald Trump is astoundingly insecure. One of the most insecure people in the world.
If it's one thing
he's a bully.
Yeah, if it's one thing that we have absolutely learned around here is that if you pick on somebody who's insecure, they go fucking hard in the paint. And
Donald Trump is, if there's one thing that scares Donald Trump more than anything else, it is looking weak.
Yeah, or being laughed at.
That scares him to the point that like he will piss his pants if it happens. Like, do you remember when he got COVID and he made it a point to come out into the little balcony area of the White House and tear off his mask and go, see, look at me, I'm strong.
Yeah.
I'm a big strong man.
Yeah.
See, he can't stand the idea of anyone perceiving him as weak, and it's because he's insecure. So he bullies other people out of his own insecurity.
Can't remember what documentary I saw it in. It was either in like that 3-part series, or whether it was the Roger Stone one or one of these other ones. Somebody had suggested that he should wear a Superman shirt under his shirt so he can rip it off and have a Superman thing on it.
Fat Superman.
I don't care if it's true or not. I believe it.
Super Blob.
To the view of bullying, which is it's really, really bad. And also, I'm not sure that it's necessarily bad for everyone who was bullied, because, as somebody who was pretty viciously bullied in high school, I think it was kind of good. Not that I was bullied, but like you grow some thick skin.
You think
you get some skill sets.
You think you wouldn't be the success you are if you hadn't been?
I was always pretty determined.
You think you wouldn't be a prick if you weren't bullied?
and to kind of walk back at it. That's not a bad skill set.
Then when the Washington Post writes an editorial about you.
Exactly.
It's not as bad.
Like, whatever. Okay.
No.
Yeah. I mean, especially because, I will say my life is a very boring and predictable life because I've made a bunch of good decisions. And one of my kind of pet peeves about people's life stories is that the ones that are really interesting are very often ones where it's people making their own obstacles and then overcoming the obstacles they make for themselves. And I'm pretty proud of the fact that I haven't had tons of obstacles that are at least self-created. I mean, like I grew up in Burbank, California over here. I had great parents. We had a small house, like 1,100 square feet, and it was 6 of us in a small house with 1 bathroom, and that's not an obstacle. That's just called life.
Right.
And then, we got a little older. My parents got a little wealthier. They moved into a 2,400 square foot home, and still wasn't that big. And, then I went to college, and then I paid my way through law school, and then I got married.
2,400 feet is pretty big for
and it sounds super boring.
a family home.
Life being good is kind of boring.
It sounds like boring and predictable, which is what you just said. You're good with that,
isn't it? Am I wrong? Like
it's solid.
That's a big home, right?
Would make me
2,400 square feet.
Like how many kids did they have at that time?
Well, he said there were
they
6
have
of them.
4 kids, because then that doesn't seem very big for having 4 kids.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on how many.
3 bedrooms, maybe 4 bedrooms.
I don't know what ours is. What is this place? Is it 1,400, 1,600, something like that? And it's 3 bedrooms and an office. And we can fit, 6 or 7 people in here if we wanted to, and it would be comfortable.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a big house. Like I don't know why he thinks that's not big.
I don't know.
Maybe he's just out of touch.
I mean, that's probably
put a bullet past my tongue. Like, no, really. I mean, boring and predictable is what I've tried and sacrifice many things to maintain not.
I think that it depends on sort of the definition, obviously. I mean, when you're saying you don't want boring and predictable, you don't mean that you'd like to be revived from an overdose, right? Like that's not. Today I'm a little down, but
no, and
I'm gonna shoot this in my arm and see how this goes.
Where are my manners, Ben? Can I get you a joint?
Absolutely not. People say I'm too mellow already, Bill. If I have more, I'm just going to be.
I don't think it would do that to you, Ben.
Literally, no one has ever called Ben Shapiro mellow.
That's good. That's good libertarianism, right?
Yeah,
that's a good kind.
Listen, I don't want a pot shop on my street. I'm for zoning laws, but you're an adult.
And it's really not that harmful. Did you see that? The Democrats are finally, what did they? They did something. They had a big thing with Willie Nelson, or is that tomorrow? Maybe that's tomorrow.
Maybe. I mean, they're dragging all of them out. They dragged out Eminem, Willie Nelson, really going for it.
No, but this is like a last minute, pot initiative. I think it's just full legalization and.
Well, that's not going to happen now.
I mean, here's an interesting question.
An evolution. Kamala Harris from locking up everybody for pot to.
I mentioned that.
It's because it was illegal and she's a prosecutor. It's like, oh no, she did her job. But I mean, I'm not. Don't get me fucking wrong. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that people should be put in jail for weed. I'm not saying that they ever should have been. But if you're looking at somebody like Kamala Harris, and you have to view what they're doing through their eyes and what they are. She put her whole life into being a prosecutor. And so if she's going to be effective at her job, she's going to do the best job she can at being fucking effective at her job. And that's it doesn't make any sense to fucking compare when she was a prosecutor when laws were different to now where it's legal in like 28 states and most fucking dispensaries look like Apple stores. There's like a whole lot of people that you need to start letting out of jail at this point. And I don't think that she's opposed to it. She's definitely not opposed to it. And in fact, she was even discussing having some sort of initiative to just legalize it across the board is just miles away from what the laws were back when she was prosecuting cases as DA in San Francisco.
I heard a good suggestion that Biden, in his last couple months in office, month and a half now, gosh, should just pardon every single person in America who is in jail for like just having weed on them.
Yeah. Also, all the journalists that have ever existed. Just give them one blanket pardon across all of them so they can never be prosecuted for a journalism ever.
Yep.
Lost me.
Also, I think he should pardon himself so that the Supreme Court has to decide whether that's a thing you can do. And they're deciding it about Biden.
Mm-hmm. I pardon myself, and since the Supreme Court says that I can do whatever I want, I'm just going to go ahead and do that. Good luck with trying to try my crime family for anything ever again. Bye!
This is back when I used to give money to some politicians. I've learned my lesson. But I think she was very against pot. And I thought, oh, wow. I mean, like unnecessarily, especially for the Democrat. It looked to me like, oh, you're.
That doesn't matter because she's a prosecutor, so she is an arm of the law.
And it makes you look.
Someone in chat asked what he would pardon himself for. You don't actually have to pick a crime to pardon yourself. You can just pardon yourself for like whatever crimes you may have committed in this time span.
Yep.
You know,
It's all about issues that matter to me.
I gotta say, I
mean,
do
like,
think that for young people,
whether you can pardon yourself is a question, but you can pardon other people
Again, I mean, that's,
for just like
But-
any crimes they did.
but for young people, I don't think it's a wonderful thing. Like 20-year-olds who are regularly toking, I don't think that's a great thing for
Well,
their lives.
20, okay. 20, you're grown up. And that's when you really want to be smoking. Listen.
Are 20-year-olds grown up?
No.
But
Bill Maher, like, really, is that what you think about 20-year-olds? Is that they're grown
I
up?
did not start until I was 19. I was. It was after the.
They're
first,
legally adults, but they are not grown up.
No.
good.
No. They maybe physically have will not gain any more height.
Yeah.
But no.
But, like, their brains have a long way to go.
Whoa. I'm fucking 44. My brain still has a long way to go, I'm sure.
I feel like good for my body and good for my mind. You have to learn what reality is before you start fucking with it, you know? But, you know, as far as libertarian principles go, to me, the most private place that you should not try to interfere with is inside my mind. Don't tell me what I can do inside my mind. That's worse than coming into my house even. That's my mind. And if I want to open the doors of perception, you know the group The Doors?
Yeah, of course.
You know that's where that name comes
I
from?
did not know that.
Aldous Huxley, I believe it was one, wrote a book called The Doors of Perception about drugs. And that's where they took that name from.
Okay.
Look,
You taught me something. I did not know that.
I can't believe there's
Well,
one
Bill,
thing in this world you didn't know.
To be
Now
fair,
you-
this is an area of expertise.
I know, but I feel very good that I knew one thing you didn't know.
You know, when it comes to this sort of stuff, I also am a big fan of localism on this. So again, I don't want a pot shop in my neighborhood where my kids are. And if you want to live in libertarian,
They just look like a
Why?
store.
Your kids wouldn't be allowed in the pot shop.
Yeah.
I must tell you, as someone who probably
Like, instead, you want it to be illegal there so your kids can buy it from a guy behind 7-Eleven?
Are there bars in your neighborhood? Your kids can't walk in those either.
I would rather, like, I don't have kids, but when I do, I'd rather, like, they get like people around me get their illicit substances from places that don't allow kids in. Right.
You think?
Rather than them being illegal and just like when I was a kid, I still remember being 16 buying weed from some guy from like my friend's boyfriend behind the 7-Eleven.
Yeah. Yeah. Or weed or other hallucinogenic substances that are definitely more chemically complicated that you buy from some dude named Cosmo who will only meet you on a BART platform.
And then you're just not sure where it came from.
Then you don't care.
You kind of
You
gotta
don't
trust
care.
him.
You don't care because you just scored. Fuck yeah.
Call them dispensaries.
Thank you. Again, not my area of expertise.
So like, not only is that worse for kids because then the kids can buy drugs, it's also worse for adults because then you don't know whether that came from some place that like cut it with something or like, you know, like you go into a dispensary and buy weed. It is so much better than the trash weed I used to get on the street as a kid. Like I'd get like good weed, quote unquote, from like, you know, the hookup, like the guy who had the good weed.
Yeah.
And it's still like maybe 70% as good as what I can buy at a dispensary right now.
Yeah.
Just like the average thing I could buy at a dispensary right now.
Yeah. Oh, fuck, the place I work, you'd fucking lose your mind. Because I work at the where they grow it, and then I fucking trim it, all the fucking top shelf shit. Some of the shit that rolls through there is fucking Bill Maher look at it and be fucking high for a week.
But I promise you,
Learn things.
it's not like, I know you don't want it in your neighborhood, but I think you're picturing a crack den and a pot shop.
Nah.
It's just people like me who can afford it, going in and having a very elegant experience with bud tenders and people selling a product.
He
giving
goes
you
to the
advice,
bougie
you
ass
know,
pot shop.
sleep, or my friend has joint pain, or my friend has Parkinson's, and what would help, and
I mean, here, I do have a question for you on this, actually.
Yes.
And I want to get your opinion on
Yes.
it. So, you look at Denver, right? Denver has a huge problem with people in the streets who are clearly high. It's actually made a quality of life difference in terms of homelessness, in terms of, and that has been linked to.
Wait, high on
Where?
weed or
High
high
on
on
what,
other
Ben?
things?
Like
Yeah, like I don't care if someone's high on weed in the street. They'll just be like walking around just like, man, everything is beautiful.
Right, dude. But do you got some water?
Holy shit. That's a Taco Bell. What a great idea.
Do you think that they put tacos in the bell? And then
There's gotta be tacos in that
There's
bell.
tacos in the
I'm
bell.
gonna try and climb up to the bell, you guys. No, never mind.
Bro, don't try to climb up the bell. Here, smoke this.
That sounds like a lot of work.
That's too
I'm not
much
gonna do that.
work.
Let's just go in and get tacos from the counter.
Let's just go get a taco instead.
drug use is way too
Like, would you rather someone drive like high on cocaine or high on weed? Like, you know,
Where am I
ideally, don't
trying to
drive high
get
at all,
to,
but,
or
like,
am
if someone's going to?
where am I trying to get to, or what am I trying to get away from? There's like there's levels.
I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about like if you're on the road and someone else is high on something, would you rather it be weed or cocaine?
Oh, it would rather be weed because I just go past them because they're like in the third lane
Right?
over,
They're all the way in the slow lane. They're going
trying
like
not to be
55
noticed,
on the
looking like very natural.
freeway. Yep.
Never have I driven like that on weed. Never.
And then the guy on coke is going like 95 in the fast lane.
And pissed at everybody else because they're going so slow. Fucking sweating bullets, like fucking not using they're like they're the fast salmon in the fucking stream that's gonna fucking go up and die first because they get to the fucking end.
Yep, and he'll just be rage yelling while he's slamming into the median at 106 miles an hour.
Hasn't paid their fast track bill in 6 months and has $1,500 racked up in fines.
Well, like these are nuances that like Ben Shapiro just does not understand.
Can't relate.
Pot legalization. Do you think that's been a boon for Seattle, San Francisco, Denver?
I think anything.
What limits do you think should be on it?
anything that involves great numbers of people? There's going to be some downside. I remember talking to Bezos about this. I don't know, it was just come up at dinner with a bunch of people, and they were mentioning something that Amazon, they were going after them for, and he said, "Well, I have 1.9 million." I think that was the number. Is that about right for Amazon employees? He said, which is like the size of the city of whatever it was, you know, San Antonio. So, would you expect the city of San Antonio to like have no sexual harassment? You know,
Right.
You're talking about 1.9 million people. I think it's kind of like that with, it's the right thing to legalize.
Maybe companies shouldn't employ 1.9 million people.
That's a fucking lot of people.
Blah, blah, blah.
Maybe that's
But yes,
unmanageable.
some number of people are going to fuck up. And we should also have immigration. And some number of people who come as migrants will commit crimes. To try to pretend that that's the whole issue of immigration. Yes, it's one thing you factor in when you go, what's the right answer on this? And certainly that answer isn't no immigrants. You want to have no immigrant crime? Have no immigrants. That's not the right answer. Anything in the middle, would you concede, is some mixture of
I
both?
mean, of course, there are always trade-offs when it comes to public
Yes.
policy, of course.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, the real question I'm asking, I suppose, is about externalities, level of addictiveness, because, again, as pot has gotten significantly more powerful, I mean, it's not the same pot as when I was growing up and kids in school were smoking.
But it's still not addictive, though, even though it's stronger.
Been smoking steadily for 50 years. I can attest it is not addictive. But I know that was a joke, but let me tell you why it's actually the truth.
Okay.
I know.
I mean, just like anything, pot can be like mentally addictive, but no, it's not physically addictive. You don't like die if you withdraw from it after having smoked it consistently for like years.
So I've smoked consistently since I was 13. I am 44 now. And I'm like consistently as in like it has been a goal of mine to smoke weed every day since I started smoking weed at 13. And I've pretty much achieved my goal. So far. But I mean, there has been times when I just have not had money and had not had weed, and it doesn't fucking affect me one way or the other. Cigarettes, on the other hand, like I've quit smoking cigarettes twice. Once for 10 years, and then I started again, and then I quit again 4 years ago. And both times I was able to do it cold turkey. Was a little pissy the first couple of days as the nicotine gets out of your system. But after that, I think that maybe I'm just kind of like, maybe it's unfair to have that experience as somebody who might not have an addictive type of personality or just doesn't experience addiction in that type of way.
But neither of those things are, well, cigarettes are physically addictive to a certain extent, but like the withdrawals aren't deadly. But like alcohol, for example, is physically addictive and the withdrawals are deadly.
Yes.
Like you can get to the point where you are so addicted to alcohol that if you do not drink for a few days, you'll die because of it.
Yes. I've known alcoholics like that.
Yeah. And weed is just not like that at all.
No.
So I don't think Ben Shapiro understands what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Like alcohol is so much more addictive and it's legal. And I don't think that Ben Shapiro would want to make it illegal.
Right. Because he's okay with having a bar in his neighborhood, but not a pot shop.
20 years. Stupid. I also did cocaine for a few years. That was really stupid because I didn't ever really like it. And just shows if you take a drug long enough casually, eventually it will grab you by the nuts and make you want it every day. That happened with Coke and it happened with cigarettes. That has never happened with pot. That is the difference. These drugs said to me, do me now. I'm demanding you do me now. Pot never does that to me. Pot never says, ooh, do me. I tell pot, oh, okay, this would be a good time to smoke. That's a difference. I could, and I do.
If there were data that showed the opposite, would you shift your opinion on it? Like maybe you're an exception.
I'm sure data does for some other person. I'm a different person. We all react to drugs very differently. Most people reacted to cocaine. They got chatty. The last thing I could ever do on coke was talk. Most people couldn't fuck. I love to fuck on coke. Okay? People are different, and our chemistry is different, and how drugs affect us. Pot, about a third of the people get paranoid, about a third get sleepy, and about a third, and these are the people who should be doing it, get high. It makes us like better in a certain way. Move faster in
Gives
our
us
brain.
superpowers.
And we just enjoy life. Everything would be better. But again, because I'm not addicted, I don't do pot for stupid things. And it would never like watch a movie high. Like, I don't need to be in
Why
a
not?
different realm for a movie. It's too passive. I'll do this when I'm rewriting something. Stand up, sex, good conversation. The things I really like in life that I want to heighten the.
Okay, that's the second time he's brought up sex in like
people, it does get
1
it.
minute
I'm sure
with Ben
there are
Shapiro. Do you think he's propositioning Ben Shapiro?
Yeah, I think that he wants to get him to say wet ass pussy.
idiots.
Wet ass P word.
Wet ass P
Sure.
word.
Who sit home all day and smoke pot all day. And by the way, their heroes are people like, and I love them, but Willie Nelson, Snoop Dogg, people who, Woody, people have this reputation for smoking pot all day long because they do. That's so far from me. So I'm just saying that's the spectrum when we're talking about pot. Don't judge me by the worst people who do it.
No, I'm not trying to take away your powers. I made very clear
but
to
you
you.
agree with that principle.
Did he just call Willie Nelson the worst
That doesn't necessarily
people who do pot?
public
Like,
policy
what?
considerations, right? I mean, you have to look
Like,
at.
I think you mentioned Snoop Dogg too.
I think what he meant to say with the dude with the best words that piss off Bill Burr was that they are not the worst, but the most oh fuck, and I lost it now because I tried to fucking sound
The
smart.
most smoky,
The most
the biggest users.
the most experienced, prolific. Thank you. That
Yeah.
was the thank you. Prolific. They're the most prolific ones that are known for. It's part of their personality that they are proponents of fucking smoking weed and partying and getting high. And Bill Maher wants to be known for just having those edgy. He thinks it's edgy.
Well, like Bill Maher should be honored to be compared to Willie Nelson and Snoop Dogg,
I
two
agree.
beloved celebrities.
I agree.
Unlike Bill Maher, who is a celebrity.
Yeah. Also, like, who else did he mention? He said Snoop Dogg. Oh, Woody Harrelson. Wish he was as cool as fucking Woody Harrelson. I would also go and just say Matthew McConaughey. Also, prolific and wonderful pot smoker that anybody wishes they could be as fucking cool as that motherfucker.
Have to look at the data. What are the percentages of people? What are the ages where it's most likely to be addictive?
So, okay, rubber meets the road. Should it be legal or not? Pot.
I mean, I where I live, no. Where you live, sure. I'm a big
What a
fan of
weird
localism. Big
stance.
fan of localism.
What a dodge.
What about the people around him? Does he value more or less than the people around Bill Maher?
Same, as in he doesn't value either.
Then, like, he shouldn't care if it's legal in either place. Make it legal. He's just worried about his kids doing it. And it's like, does he realize that the way he's talking about it, like, is going to make his kids do it?
It's going to
Like,
encourage
that is
them.
going to make your kids do it.
Yeah. And like, I don't hide shit from my kids. I never like stop swearing in front of them at any point, and it's not like I haven't made it, like I haven't gone out of my way to hide things from them. They just get explained to that this is a thing that is for adults, and when you are of that age, and feel free to experiment because you'll be an adult and it'll be your choice. And you know what that's resulted in? They don't give a shit. They just don't care.
Yep. Yeah, that's pretty much how my parents talked with me about it. And like, I think I was 16 the first time I ever got high. And I think I was 17 the second time I ever got high.
It was my birthday, and then it turned midnight. No, I'm kidding.
No, it was actually like my first experience high was like still one of my favorite experiences high. Like I got super giggly. I was like rolling around on the floor laughing. Like I was surrounded by like good friends who were getting high for the first time. So we were just all having a really good time. And like that's what Ben Shapiro is afraid of for his kids. He's afraid of his kids will do pot and then realize, oh, drugs aren't bad. Dad's fucking crazy.
It's like, oh, yeah, Dad doesn't want them to have any normal experiences.
Yep.
Like the pores. Don't do what the pores do.
That very fundamental issue of life and death was somehow different between, Kansas and Vermont.
Oh, it isn't. But I think that this is actually a really important political point, which is that, on a principled level, were I the dictator, then all the rules would, be dictated by me. But I'm not. The question is pragmatic politics. Do we wish to share a republic together? Do we wish to share the same country? If that's true, that's why the system was constructed in favor of localism, specifically for that, so that you and I can disagree on stuff and still get along. So I think that actually it's a pretty good position.
But certainly you would concede that federalism does trump localism.
Do you have anything to say, Keely?
And rightly so.
Oh, this is a kitty cat. What's that kitty cat's name?
Her name is Salem.
Oh,
Say
Salem's
hi,
good girl.
Salem.
Hi, Salem's good girl.
We do need a federal government. I mean, you're not anti.
For very few things. For very few things. It's
So
a government of specified powers.
So you believe Alexander Hamilton went too far?
I don't think we need a national bank. Yes. Yes.
Really?
Yes. Yes.
I love it that my jokes are your truth. We don't need a national bank.
Seems like banks have done pretty well with that national bank.
Where?
Here.
A central bank is not.
That wasn't a central bank. Alexander Hamilton's national bank was not like the Federal Reserve or something.
But what we have now is a central bank.
The Federal Reserve.
And like
Yes.
every big boy country does.
It didn't until the mid 20th century, until the 1920s, effectively.
Okay, but isn't it something
I like the gold standard.
It didn't until, countries started to really take off and profit and have
Yeah.
a lot of economic gain.
And trade with each other.
Gold standard's
Nope.
good stuff. Because it means that there isn't a cadre of wise men deciding how much my money's worth.
Do you think it would create, if we did that, like a new generation of 49ers, gold prospectors, but now they have like super high technology. So it wasn't like in the river with the pan and you're looking.
I mean,
and
they could try it, but let's put it this way. The amount of gold they're going to generate by doing that's a hell of a lot less inflationary than the amount of money that's being generated by the federal government every single day.
You know what broke?
But gold is only worth money until it's not worth money anymore. You know what you can't eat? Gold. You know what you can't drink?
Well, like you
Gold.
can say the same about the dollar.
I do say the same thing about the dollar. That's why my apocalypse plan is marijuana seeds.
Although you can technically eat a dollar.
You can, but the nutritional value is fucked.
I think it's mostly made out of cotton, so it's mostly like cellulose.
It's just fiber.
So it's
It'll keep
not
your
going to be good. You're going to get like maybe 1 calorie out of that dollar.
1 calorie, and it'll keep your poop in a group, and that's basically it.
Yeah.
One pores because you'd go into
The ink you'll probably get more calories from.
Well, I just thought of it, but I was going to say, apropos of the gold thing, pyrite.
It must have been real bad.
Pyrite looks like gold because I know when I was a kid I had a little pyrite.
Exactly. Not as malleable. That's how you can tell, right? It's like a hammer. You're like,
Oh, is that
Hang
how
on.
you tell?
that's how you tell, yeah.
That is one way to tell. They also don't look exactly
It was
alike.
the time when they were
Like gold has a different luster than pyrite.
Yeah.
appropriate to support as a business because they were mined by, gangs basically in Western Africa.
What, Elon's Emerald?
Chopped off the arms of the children to assert their sovereignty over the village, stuff like that. They were
I'm
called.
smiling 'cause I feel like there's a joke on the other end.
No.
of the story.
They were called Well, I did actually. Why do you say that? It's an old.
I feel like if you're going all the way down into the morass, there's going to be a joke when we come on the other side of this.
because it's a true story. Well, they're called conflict diamonds, right?
Yes.
This is a true story, though. I put it in my 2003 special that I did on Broadway. but it's an absolutely true story. This girl I was dating at the time, and I was telling her about this, where in Africa, the diamonds, they to assert control over the area where they need to mine, they would sometimes cut off the arms of the little children in the village. And she looked at me with sad eyes and said, "Both arms?" Because it was just one. Diamonds are just so sparkly. I mean, but both gave her pause. I just could not have been a sweeter person. But I think it just illustrated the whole that the diamonds have. Do you ever see that? You ever see Marathon Man?
Of course.
Where Laurence Olivier in the Diamond District as Zell. He's the. What was he? He's
a Nazi doctor.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be Mengele, right?
That's what I was going to ask you. He's supposed to be Mengele, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what a great movie that was.
Yeah, the great Roy Scheider, who's the best thing in the film.
I think they've run out of things to talk about.
That's another just shoot shit about movies.
Olivier and Dustin Hoffman, and Roy Scheider blows them both off the screen. He's
and
great.
Supposedly the scuttlebutt from the set was, you had these two generations of actors.
It might be a good time to turn it over to Red Light.
As they used to say.
What do you think?
Are we? Is that what you do here?
Method.
It's usually around like 8:30. The
famous scene where
that Dave calls it and switches over to Red Light.
He's torturing.
All right. Well, we can go ahead and do that then. Oh, because the pod portion. See, I don't do pods.
So I'll read us out, and then if you want to load up Boomers by Periscope, we'll play that, and then we'll jump into Red Light after the song.
All right.
So yeah, thank you for tuning in to the Intellectual Dollar Tree. We do this show every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Pacific right here on twitch.tv/Echoplex Media. If you want to support us, you can do that at patreon.com/Echoplex, or you can do that at eplex.store where you can buy our merch. If you're listening live, stick around for after the song where we change the color of the lights and the contents of our drinks. And if you're listening on the podcast, then check us out live sometime. All right, here is Boomers by Periscope.
Thank you, HK. Oh, the damn crossfader.
Should you pay